Speaking of, apparently, it's not just the billionaires that are full of shit, but even the generals. And this is important to watch because when it's time, and there will become another time, to bomb Syria or bomb wherever for whatever reason that they're trying to sell, just like last time, and all of the responsible people, maybe it's somebody even from Brookings Institute, maybe it's somebody from the Washington Post editorial page, maybe it's somebody from the National Center for Security and Strategic Strategy Security of America conference, whatever organization it's going to be, when they come out and they go, look, I'm a very sober person, as you know, and I don't, but we must show strength here. And it's true. Donald Trump, we can't trust, but we can trust people like General McMaster's. He knows his stuff and he's a straight arrow. Here's McMaster's being asked the question, do you remember what happened a week ago when you were in the office with the president and the foreign minister of Russia and the ambassador from Russia? Do you remember what happened there? Even with these reports of notes that would maybe jog your memory. Here is the question.
And one of the few people in that meeting, National Security Advisor General H.R. McMaster, he's our exclusive guest this morning from Saudi Arabia with the president. General McMaster, thanks for joining us today. I want to get to the trip, but first some questions about that meeting you all had with the Russian foreign minister. New York Times, as you know, reporting that here's what the president said in the meeting. I just fired the head of the FBI. He was crazy, a real nut job. I faced great pressure because of Russia. That's taken off. Is that what the president said?
Well, I don't remember exactly what the president said, and the notes that they apparently have, I do not think are a direct transcript. But the gist of the conversation was that the president feels as if he's hamstrung in his ability to work with Russia to find areas of cooperation, because this has been obviously so much in the news. And that was the intention of that portion of the conversation.
Yeah, I don't remember. I would never remember if he called the FBI chief that he just fired a nut job. Here's the thing. When I function as the chief of the National Security Council, I don't like to get so detail-oriented. I find like you get lost in the trees for the forest. For me, national security is about like, we want to exist as a country. I don't get caught up in the tiny detail stuff, like remembering stuff like that.
What, does he look like, a stenographer?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a tape recorder. I'm a human being. And no, I mean, do I feel awkward coming out and doing this? Because I thought I would end up being a 4-star general. So I know I could eat a lot of crow and a lot of crap, really. But here's Stephanopoulos asking him, basically, do you have any semblance of integrity left, or what's going on with that?
Press conference on that meeting. Your friend and former colleague, retired Colonel John Nagel, told NPR that you're in an impossible situation because the president expects you to defend the indefensible. What's your reaction to that?
I don't think I'm in an impossible situation. I think what the president expects and what is my duty to do as National Security Advisor and as an officer in our Army is to give my best advice, to give my best candid advice.
Pause it right there. Now, here's the thing. He's still active duty. And he's just basically said, as an officer in our Army, it's basically him saying, like, look, if anybody knows Morse code out there, watch his eyes blinking to see what he's doing.
He elected me to make policy. What my job is to give the president options to integrate the efforts across all of our agencies and departments. And then once the president makes decisions, to help him execute those decisions to protect and advance the interests of the American people. So I find no difficulty at all serving our nation and serving the president in my current capacity.
But if the president did put you in that position, as you wrote about with President Johnson and Vietnam, would you resign? Would you push back?
Well, you know, there was some middle ground there during the Vietnam period. What occurred in that period is many of the president's senior advisors, civilian and military, didn't give their best advice because they concluded that what would be appropriate for them to do, given what Johnson expected, President Johnson expected, was to tell him the advice he wanted to hear. I don't think the president expects that from me, and certainly I don't think I'd be fulfilling my duties and responsibilities unless I gave him not just my candid advice, that's really not my job either. It's to integrate and coordinate across the departments and agencies to give him the best advice from across our government and with our key multinational partners.
But it sounds like one of the difficulties of this meeting, and I do want to get onto the trip, is that when the president disparaged James Comey, when he gave that information to the Russians who interfered in our campaign, when he apparently did not confront the Russians over this, he didn't even ask your advice.
Well, George, what I'd like to talk about is where I am right now in Saudi Arabia. I mean, I think I answered the questions concerning the meeting. I'd like to move on if, well, we still have time.
We definitely will have time. So did the president ask you your advice about this before he talked about James Comey?
The president always asks our advice before these sorts of sessions, but the subject of the FBI investigation, to my recollection, didn't come up. But really, that conversation, although I don't want to talk about any more of the specifics from within it, covered a broad range of subjects.
There you go.
Don't piss down my back and tell me it's raining.
George, just want you to know it's raining. It's raining there. There's a guy who's just like, dude, you just got to suck it up. I know you don't want to lose your pension. I don't know. I don't know the details. I don't know what happens if he resigns. Does he get his pension? Does he miss out on that opportunity? Do you really want to go around with that extra star knowing this is what you had to do to get it? I mean, I imagine there's all sorts of other horrible things he's had to do, like war crimes maybe, or horrible hazing things or covering up war crimes. But
war crimes and horrible hazing things.
well, God knows. God knows. Hey, Sam Seder here. Folks, you probably heard about the whole YouTube advertiser apocalypse. Well, we're suffering from it too. We need your help. If you want to keep this show alive, you want us to be able to still put out clips on a regular basis, head over to our Patreon page. Here's the link right here or down below there. And just give us a couple bucks a month and support this program. Really appreciate it.